So I'm just going to repeat Bekitzer the points or the questions that I said yesterday on the Rashbam in the Gemara here. Number one, the Rashbam's shitta is that Rabbi Yochanan and Rav Ashi are arguing what Hillel and Rabbanan hold. Rabbi Yochanan's opinion is that Hillel and Rabbanan argue in 2 points. Number one, whether mitzvahs are mevatle zeh or not. Number two, how are you mekayim mitzvahs mother? With matzah in a way of k'orech or without k'orech? So the first question that I asked was, why are these two things connected? What's machriach to connect these 2 points? The shaila of mitzvahs mevatle zeh is a general shaila in kol ha'Torah kula. The shaila how you fulfill the mitzvah of mother is a specific shaila here b'negei to mother. What's machriach, according to Rabbi Yochanan, to connect these 2 machlokes? That's one shaila. Now, Rav Ashi, what does Rav Ashi hold according to Rashbam? Rav Ashi holds that Hillel and Rabbanan are not arguing on 2 points. Rav Ashi holds that L'kula Alma mitzvahs mevatle zeh, mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh. Kula Alma mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh. So they're not arguing regarding that. And even regarding the mitzvah of k'orech, the lashon of the Rashbam is mashma that Hillel for sure holds that you have to do k'orech. Hillel holds there's no other way to be mekayim the mitzvah of mother, only k'orech. And even the Rabbanon, the lashon of the Rashbam is Rabbanon the Braise Moidu leHillel the Kriche Nami Shaper Domi. That Kriche is also Shaper Domi. I'm not exactly sure what those words mean, but it sounds like Hillel holds that there's an inyan to do kricha. You can be yaitze without it, but there's an inyan, is shaper dami to do kricha. Huh? Rabbanan. Did I just say Hillel? Sorry. Rabbanan hold, Rabbanan are made to Hillel that kricha shaper dami. So what's the pshat in this shitta of Rav Ashi? What's the machlokes between Rav Ashi and now let me add another question that I did not ask yesterday, in which this is really the question of Tosfos on the Rashbam, and I think it's important to answer it. Tosfos asks, the first thing that Tosfos says on Rashi, or Rashbam, Ein nirek pirish hakontres, the Tosfos elam Rav Ashi. By the way, Tosfos says, Ein nirek pirish hakontres, which l'chayre means that Tosfos had what the Rashbam said in the name of Rashi. Tosfos will never refer to Rashbam as kontres, Rashi's kontres. Ein nirek pirish hakontres, the mishabish Rav Ashi milsed Rav Yochanan. That Rav Ashi is basically saying that Rav Yochanan made a mistake. It's better to change a word in a brisa. Just take out one word. Take out the word lechatchila, not lechatchila, afilu. Then to say that Rabbi Yochanan made a big mistake. Mishabish, he pashut made a mistake. What he's saying does not fit with the clear lashon of the brisa afilu. That's the question of Tosfos. Now the Rishonim, there's other Rishonim that answer the question of Tosfos. The Balamoir that learns similar mahalach in the Gemara as the Rashbam answers that the Brais over here, Rabbi Yochanan never quoted the Braisa. The way you're supposed to read the Gemara is Rabbi Yochanan chelken olav chaver aval Hillel, period. That's until where Rabbi Yochanan's statement goes. He never quoted the Braisa b'chlal. Then comes the Gemara and attempt to bring a right to Rabbi Yochanan with this Braisa. And Rav Ashi comes along and says, no, this Braisa is not a raya to Rabbi Yochanan because it says in it afilu, which means that the Rabbanan hold mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh. But Rabbi Yochanan himself never brought this Braisa. So Rav Ashi is not asking Rabbi Yochanan. Rav Ashi is not saying Rabbi Yochanan made a mistake. Rabbi Yochanan never said this Braisa. That's how many Rishonim say it. The Ran and Rabbeinu David quoted this way, b'shem the Balamoir. But it's not the simple pshat of the Gemara, and it's not l'chayre the way the Rashbam learned either. It's not the way it's not the l'chayre. It's one long statement. Amar Rabbi Yochanan chelken olav chaver aval Hillel did Tanya. Did Tanya is a continuation of what Rabbi Yochanan said. So if so, l'chayre Rabbi Yochanan Pashut made a grab a big mistake. He didn't notice the word afilu in the brayse here. What's going on? That's basically the question of Tosfos. Rabbi Yochanan Pashut made a big mistake here. Okay, so we have to answer that according to the Rashbam. So I think that the Nekuda, there's one Nekuda here to fan for the Rashbam. One Nekuda that answers all the kashas on the Rashbam. There's a certain approach the Rashbam has on the Sugya. And that is as follows. The Nekuda comes from Rabbeinu David. Even though Rabbeinu David himself has a different shitta how to learn the Sugya, but there is one Nekuda that Rabbeinu David says that I think is the marker of how the Rashbam learns the Sugya. Rabbeinu David asks the same question of Tosfos. What's the raya that Hillel holds mitzvahs ein mevatle zu azu? Over here, there's a pasuk. There's a special pasuk that says to do the mitzvah together. So how could you prove from here that they're not mevatle each other? Over here, there's a special pasuk to say so. So Rabbeinu David answers, Elo de Islan lemeimar. It's in the second column of the Rabbeinu David, in the 4 lines from the bottom. Elo de Islan lemeimar. The Svire Leila Hillel, the Kivin She'eim Mitzvahs Pesach, Ma'akeves Mitzvahs Matzah. The mitzvah of Pesach is not Ma'akev Matzah, it's 2 separate mitzvahs. Elisha Mitzvahs Matzah Neheges Bizman She'ein Pesach Noyeg. The mitzvah of Matzah applies even when there's no Pesach. Elo, what do they change this to? This word Elo is extra. Is Leila Meima Dina De'eim Mevatle Zuazu. So from here you learn out that mitzvahs are not mevatel one each other. Shemina teira lamadnu kain. From this din right over here, we are learning shemitzvah is chaluka is tziva lechol ke'echad. That 2 separate mitzvahs, or maybe 3 separate mitzvahs, the Torah commanded to eat together. Atkan. What is he saying? He's saying a very Amir de Gevart. This is a very important fundamental point here in the whole sugya. Matzah is a separate mitzvah. It says in the Torah, Be'erev Teichel Matzahs. Matzah is a separate mitzvah. And still the Torah says you could be Yaitzeh, the separate mitzvah of Matzah, when you eat it together with Marar and Pesach. So if you ask the question, from where do I know mitzvahs ein mevatle zu azu? This is the proof. Adarabah. From here I prove to Kol HaTorah Kula. Not Torah. Tosfos asks the question, maybe over here this case is different. Maybe we should say that everywhere else in Torah mitzvahs mevatle zuzu. Maybe this case is different, and the Torah is telling you mitzvahs ein mevatle zuzu. Comes Rabbeinu David and says, no, punkt verkehrt. Adarabah. Here is the marker to Kol HaTorah Kula. For where do you know that mitzvahs ein mevatle zuzu? From here. How do I see it from here? Because here I see I have 2 unrelated mitzvahs, matzah and Pesach, and still the Torah tells you to do it together. What's the Torah teaching you? It's not only teaching you a chiddush in this case. The chiddush of this case is a binyan av to Kol HaTorah Kula, the mitzvah same about place uzu. Adarabah, in a way, what Rabbeinu David is saying presents a bit of a problem with what Tosfos says. Tosfos says maybe here is different. Why should we say here is different? If I find that the Torah here says that 2 unrelated mitzvahs could and should be done together, why should I say this is different? Adarabah, here the Torah is making the point for Kol HaTorah Kula that mitzvahs ein mevatle zuzu. That's what Rabbeinu David is saying. Now, according to the Rashi, and maybe the Rashbam as well, you could add another detail to this. Rabbeinu David is saying this regarding matzah, that matzah is a separate mitzvah of Pesach. But the emes is that according to Rashi, and maybe the Rashbam as well, it's also true about marar. Mentioned already, there's a machlokes rishonim regarding marar. Is marar a separate mitzvah, or is marar one mitzvah with Pesach? The Rambam's shitta is that marar and Pesach are one mitzvah. It's counted as one mitzvah, it's one mitzvah. Mashenkin Rashi's shit is, Rashi says it a few times, that Marar and Pesach are 2 separate mitzvahs. Yechayev and Marar even when there's no Pesach. So according to Rashi, and maybe Rashbam, just like Matzah is a separate mitzvah, Marar is a separate mitzvah. And Pesach is certainly a separate mitzvah. So you have 3 unrelated mitzvahs. And these 3 unrelated mitzvahs, Torah says, do it together. So that shows that mitzvah same mevatle zuazu. Mashenkin, according to the Rambam, Bizman Shabis Hamikdash Kayon, it could be that the Rambam holds that all 3 are one mitzvah. Pesach, Matzah, and Marar, all 3 are one mitzvah. I mentioned this svara a few days ago, last week, פישל Rabbi פיšel per law. He has rayas to this. This that the Gemara says that Matzah is a separate mitzvah, according to the Rambam, is only Bizman Hazeh. But when there is a Korban Pesach, just like Marar, you only eat together with Pesach, Matzah as well. Matzah is only together with Pesach. The only reason Matzah is a separate mitzvah is Bizman Hazeh when there's no Pesach. But when you have a Pesach, you don't eat Matzah or Marar without the Pesach. So according to the Rambam, for sure you can't bring a raya from the fact that you eat Pesach matzah mara together, that mitzvah same avatlei zoazu. They are one mitzvah. They're supposed to be eaten together. Mashenke and Rashi and Rashbam hold, mara, matzah, and Pesach are three distinct mitzvahs. And the Torah comes and tells me, af al pikein, you should eat them together. This is the marker, the mitzvah same avatlei zoazu. What comes out from this is as follows. This klal, this din that mitzvahs aim avatlei zeh is not a svara. It's not something you would say misvara. It's a limit from a pasuk. Ask yourself this question. This concept that mitzvahs aim avatlei zeh is it a svara? It's a svara pshuta. One mitzvah can't be mevatel another mitzvah. Shus could be mevatel a mitzvah. But one mitzvah, misvara can't be mevatel another mitzvah. According to the Rashbam, that's not true. Misvara, I would say, just like a reshus is mevatel a mitzvah is also mevatel a mitzvah. I have a limud right over here regarding the mitzvah of Pesach matzah and Marer that the Torah tells me to do three mitzvahs together. This is the source that mitzvahs say mevatel zeh. I don't know, it's a chiddush of a pasuk. Otherwise, misvara, I would have said mitzvahs mevatel zeh. And l'chayre, the reason is, v'rat according to the Rashbam says, why is reshus mevatel a mitzvah? Because the tam of the reshus takes away from the tam of mitzvahs matzah. If that's the reason, if the issue is the tam, so then misvara, I would say that the same thing applies to two mitzvahs. Who cares if it's like, I mentioned this yesterday, who cares if it's a reshus and a mitzvah, or it's a mitzvah and a mitzvah? Even if it's a mitzvah and a mitzvah, the fact is one mitzvah takes away from the taste of the other mitzvah. So you're not doing the mitzvah fully. So misvara, I would say, that just like reshus is mevatel the tam of the mitzvah, a mitzvah is also, one mitzvah is also mevatel the tam of another mitzvah. Afal pikein, there's a gzeiras hakosov, there's a chiddush here that the pasuk comes and tells me that when a reshus is mevatel the tam of the mitzvah, that's an issue. When a mitzvah is mevatel the tam of a mitzvah, that ain't mevatel zeh, then it's not an issue. And why? What's the logic behind it? Enochanami, it's a chiddush of the pasuk. But what's the logic behind it? So the Rashbam says, and the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch spells it out even clearer, because kulon mitzvahs of shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shkulan en ka'achas, because kulon mitzvahs of shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So l'chayra, according to the Alter Rebbe's lashon, you can add another geshmaka point to this, that the chiddush of the pasuk is, without the pasuk, I would say, enochanami kulon mitzvahs of shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu hein, but then it's not the same mitzvah. This is a mitzvah to eat matzah, and this is a mitzvah to eat marer. It's two separate mitzvahs. So it's kol mitzvahs shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but different mitzvahs. Kamashmal on the pasuk that even though it's a different mitzvah, but all mitzvahs have one akudah. All mitzvah have one akudah, which is the fact that they're mitzvahs shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore they can't be mevatel each other. Which is a chiddush of the pasuk. B'lulei zeh wouldn't say this. Al derech, the concept of ha'isik b'mitzvah potem in a mitzvah, which is a Gemara in Sukkah and in many places. This concept of Vaisik Mitzvah Patam and Mitzvah, is it a din misvara or is it a din that's learned from a pasuk? It's not a din misvara. The Gemara brings a pasuk for it. Why isn't it a din misvara? If I'm always being Vaisik in this mitzvah, why should I do another mitzvah? The answer is because each mitzvah is a different obligation. You're doing one mitzvah, accomplishing one thing and fulfilling one chiyuv. Another mitzvah is a different chiyuv, and therefore there's another. Why would being Vaisik in one mitzvah pat you from another mitzvah? Are you going to say you can't do two mitzvahs at the same time physically? But that's not true, because the din of Isaac mitzvah patam and a mitzvah is even in a case where you could do two mitzvahs at the same time, still Isaac mitzvah patam and a mitzvah. I'm not going to get into the details of the story. You can look in the Gemara and Sukkah. So by the din of Isaac mitzvah patam and a mitzvah, it's not learned misvara, it's learned from a pasuk. What's the chiddush of the pasuk? Misvara, I would have said, it's two different mitzvahs. Comes the pasuk and says, it's all the Eibish's mitzvahs. And when you're doing one mitzvah, it's the same as the other mitzvah. And the nekuda of the mitzvah, that it's mitzvahs of shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's the same as any other mitzvah.
Isn't that in a svara?
What? Ha'isek b'mitzvah patam and mitzvah? It is a svara. Yeah, it is true that every mitzvah has two aspects. Every single mitzvah has the inyan prati of the mitzvah, and every mitzvah has the klal of the mitzvah, that it's mitzvahs of shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But I need a pasuk to tell me that I focus on the klal sheba mitzvah, and therefore the prat is not meineya, the prat is not diminished, the time of the matzah in this case. Without the chiddush apostolic, I would say, yeah, but b'payil, each mitzvah has an inyan prati that you have to be mekayim. So mara diminishes matzah, and matzah diminishes mara. This is the makir in nigla for the concept that the Rebbe speaks about in Lekutei Sichos all over the place, that every mitzvah has two inyanim. There's the Ratzon Hashem of mitzvahs, which is Ashekachana b'mitzvah v'tzivana, which is equal in every mitzvah, and there's the inyan prati of every mitzvah. And you have in the Rebbe Sichos beribui mekaymis. So right, this over here in nigla, this is the makir for this inyan. Okay. So the nekudah comes out of here is, Al Pizeh, you could understand why Rabbi Yochanan held that Hillel and the Rabbanan argue in two nekudas. They argue Sai B'negeh to the Shaila of mitzvahs mevatle zeh, and they also argue how to be Mekayim mitzvahs mother. The question I asked was, l'chayra, these are two unrelated things. The answer is, according to the Rashbam, it's not. According to the Rashbam, it's one and the same thing. What's the whole makkah that mitzvahs mevatle zeh? From mitzvahs k'orech. If there's a pasuk that says that you have to eat these three mitzvahs together, that is the makkah that mitzvahs mevatle zeh. If there's no such a pasuk, if there is no such a pasuk that you have to eat them together, so b'derech mamela mitzvahs. Did I just say mitzvahs mevatles before? Again, let me start over again. Sorry. Is anyone listening to me? You mind opening the window there? If the Torah says that you have to be mekayim three mitzvahs together, so then what does that teach me? Automatically, that teaches me that mitzvahs aim mevatle zeh. This is the only makir for mitzvahs aim mevatle zeh. There's no svara. K'orech is the source of it. If you hold that there's no such a mitzvah of k'orech, so you have no svara, you have no makir, that is, that mitzvahs aim mevatle zeh. So you just say mitzvahs mevatle zeh, just like reshus is mevatle mitzvah, or mitzvahs mevatle mitzvah. These two things go hand in hand, not because there's a connection between them, but because this is the very makir for the concept of mitzvahs mevatle zeh. Svara. Adarabah. Svara. That's the svara. The svara pshuta says, that's Rashbam's shitta. Svara pshuta says, Torah told you to do a mitzvah, and there has to be tam matzah. If you mix anything else in, it's mevatel. That's svara. And it makes no difference if it's a reshus or a mitzvah. Comes mitzvahs k'orech, and as machadish, mitzvahs ain't mevatel zeh. So if the Rabbanon don't hold of mitzvahs k'orech, b'derech memela, they also argue on the concept of ein mitzvahs mevatel zeh. Goes together. Hainu hach. I'll explain that also. I'm going to get the taste, so I'll explain that as well. Can't say that. The Rashbam holds you can't say that. Okay. Al Pizeh, going to Rav Ashi. Or before I go to Rav Ashi, so first let me answer the Shaila of Taisvis on Rashbam, that l'chayra Rav Yochanan made a mistake. L'chayra Rav Yochanan made a mistake in the afilu in the Braisa. Al Pizeh, you can understand that Rav Yochanan did not make a mistake. And what I'm about to say says more or less in the Chiddushei Haran. But based on what I'm explaining here, you understand what the Ran is really saying here. The Ran basically says, Rabbi Yochanan saw the afilu in the Braisa. But still, Rabbi Yochanan held that it's not a stira to what he's saying. Why? Because the way Rabbi Yochanan learned the pshat in this Braisa is as follows. This Braisa is really talking just about one subject. How to fulfill mitzvahs mother. This is not a Braisa discussing mitzvahs in Kol HaTorah Kula. Look at the Braisa. What is the Braisa talking about? It's talking about mitzvahs k'orech, mitzvahs mother. It's not talking about mitzvahs in Kol HaTorah Kula. So the only thing that the Braisa is called, that the Rabbanan and the Braisa are coming to say is, Hillel held, you have to do k'orech. Came the Rabbanan of the Braisa and says, no, you don't have to do k'orech. The Torah says yichluhu, to each one separately. So afilu zeh b'fnei atzmai. They're using the lashon of afilu because Hillel said legabe mitzvahs mother that you have to do it together. Comes the Rabbanan and the Braisa speaking about mitzvahs mother, saying no, you don't have to, because it says in the Torah yichluhu each one b'fnei atzmai. That's it. That is the teichen of the Braisa. The Braisa is not saying anything more than that. Elamai Rabbi Yochanan held from the Braisa, you could now be meichiach that there's also a machlokes between Hillel and Rabbanan whether mitzvahs mevatle zeh. Because since the whole makir that mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh comes from mitzvahs k'orech, so if the Rabbanan and the Braisa are saying that they don't hold of mitzvahs k'orech, b'derech memela, you have no makir that mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh. So what will remain is that mitzvahs are mevatle zeh, just like a reshus is mevatle mitzvah, mitzvah is mevatle mitzvah. That's not what the Rabbanan were trying to say in the Braisa. That's not what Rabbanan are talking about in the Braisa. But that's what comes out from what the Rabbanan said. Hey, yes, there's no mitzvahs k'orech, but derech memela, mitzvahs mevatle zeh. So Rabbi Yochanan saw the afilu. But it still didn't bother him because the lashon of afilu that he used was legabe mitzvahs marer. Hillel said you must do kairech. Came the Rabbanan and said legabe mitzvahs kairech you don't have to. Then there's a diak from this kumt eis b'derech b'meila that there's no marker for mitzvahs emavatli zeh. That's the way Rabbi Yochanan learned this brayso. So that afilu is not a stira b'chlal. Comes Rav Ashi. So on this pirish, Rav Ashi disagreed. Rav Ashi disagreed with this pirish. Rav Ashi held the poil the brayso says the word afilu. So therefore Rav Ashi does not want to split it. Rav Ashi does not want to split it that the brayso said the word afilu legabe the mitzvah of mother. But mitzad the inyan of mitzvahs mevatle zeh Rabbanon are going to hold that you can't do it together. But the brayso didn't spell it out because the brayso wasn't dealing with this. Rabbi Yochanan splits it into two different subjects. Rav Ashi didn't want to split it. Rav Ashi says, look at the pashut lashon of the brayso. The brayso says that according to the Rabbanon, afilu, you can do either or. If you can do either or, so it has to be that the Rabbanon hold mitzvahs eim avatle zeh. That's why you can do either or. So Rav Ashi took the pashtus of the brayso. The brayso says afilu. Rabbi Yochanan says no. The brayso is talking about one subject. The brayso is talking about mitzvahs marer, and therefore could use the lashon afilu. And then from this comes out a separate inyan that you have no marker to the concept of mitzvahs eim avatle zeh. So al pizeh, let's go a step further according to Rav Ashi. So how does Rav Ashi learn shittas Rabbanon? How does Rav Ashi learn shittas Rabbanon? So Rav Ashi holds that according to the Rabbanon, mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh, just like Hillel. They both hold mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh. So according to what I explained, the only source for mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh is where? Here, mitzvahs kairech. There's no other source. Rashbam's shitta is mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh is not a svara. It's something that you have to learn from a pasuk. And that's something that everybody agrees with. Kul alma, which means even according to Rav Ashi, if Rabbanon hold mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh like Hillel, where did they get it from? From kairech. Umemela, by default, that means that just like Hillel holds of kairech, Rabbanan also hold of kairech. So that's why, according to Rav Ashi, just like they agree b'negei to mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh, they also agree that there's a mitzvah of kairech. They both agree that there's a mitzvah of kairech. Elamai, there's still a difference between the mitzvah of kairech according to the Rabbanon and the mitzvah of kairech according to Hillel. What's the difference? The difference is Hillel, and this you see over here in the Rashbam. I'll explain you soon in a moment where you see it in the Rashbam, but I'll first tell you about what's going on over here. Hillel holds Yechluhu only has one pirish. Yechluhu is that you have to look at the pshat of the pasuk. Yechluhu means to eat Pesach, matzah, marer together. That's it. There's no other pirish to Yechluhu. Umemela Yechluhu means you must eat it with kairech. Rabbanan are meisif. Rabbanan hold Yechluhu has two pirushim. Yechluhu, first of all, means taka like Hillel said, that you have to eat it together. That's the pashtus of the pasuk. Second of all, there's a diuk in the word Yechluhu, the extra hey vav in the end. It should have said Yoichal. Does Rashbam say Yoichlu? Should have said Yoichlu, and instead it says Yechluhu. Yechluhu is saying that you can eat each one bifnei atzmai. But the Yechluhu, the diuk of Yechluhu, is only a diuk. What's the pashtup shot of the pasuk? That you have to eat it together. So Rabbanan held the pashtup shot of the pasuk, which is that you have to eat it together, and there's also a diuk, Yechluhu. And Mamela, that is the machlokes between Hillel and the Rabbanan. Hillel holds the Torah said Yechluhu, so you have to eat it together. Rabbanan hold Yechlu, but pashtus means you have to eat it together, but the diuk of Yechluhu tells me that you could eat it separately also. So therefore, according to Hillel, kairech is ma'akiv, and according to the Rabbanan, kairech is not ma'akiv. Taka the Torah says a mitzvah of kairech, but kairech is not ma'akiv. Therefore, Rabbanan hold, on one hand, kairech befeirish is a mitzvah, because the Torah wrote Yechluhu. And Mamela Yechluhu means it's a mitzvah to eat it together. And this is the marker that mitzvahs eim avatle zeh. What's the marker that mitzvahs eim avatle zeh? Only if the Torah says that you should eat it together, according to the Rashbam, the marker of mitzvahs eim avatle zeh is the mitzvah of kairech. That's the yesod advarim here. If there's no mitzvah of k'orech, there's no concept of mitzvah say mevatle zeh zeh. So therefore the Rabbanan are maided that there's a mitzvah of k'orech. But then the Torah clarified by adding the diuk of yechluhu to say that that mitzvah of k'orech is not ma'akev. That's the pshat here. The Rashbam and the Bramaskal yechluhu says this drasha, explains the drasha this way. Right? So on one hand, according to Rav Ashi, on one hand there's a drasha of yechluhu, that you can read it separately. On the other hand, the Rashbam says, Rabbanon de Braise Moidu lehillel de kriche nami shaper domi. What is kriche nami shaper domi? Shaper domi doesn't mean there's a heter for kriche. Doesn't mean there's a heter for kriche. If you have no mitzvah to do kriche, there can be no heter for kriche. It goes together. It's either one or the other. If there's no mitzvah of kriche, then you can't do it together. The only reason you can do it together is because there's a mitzvah. If there's a mitzvah, you have a source that mitzvah is ein mevatlin zu zu. If it's not a mitzvah, there's no source to say mitzvah is ein mevatlin zu zu. Again, Rashbam, that's you say the shit is Rashbam. These two things go together. If it's a mitzvah, you could say mitzvah is ein mevatlin zu zu. So it comes out another detail in the machlokes of Rabbi Yochanan and Rav Ashi how to learn the pshat and the braysa. According to Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbanon and Hillel are arguing how to learn yechluhu. Hillel learned yechluhu means bekricha, and Rabbanan learned yechluhu is zebif niatzmai v'zebif niatzmai. According to Rav Ashi, Hillel did not argue on the Rabbanan, that is, the Rabbanan did not argue on the yechluhu of Hillel. The Rabbanan agreed to the yechluhu of Hillel that it means bekricha. The Rabbanan were meisif. The Rabbanan were meisif another drasha. Besides the fact that the pshat of yechluhu is bekricha, there's another pshat that it also means zebif niatzmeh v'zebif niatzmeh. They're just coming to be meisif. They're not making their own drasha different than Hillel. No, not l'chatchila. Either one. You can do it either way. They're equal. They are equal. Yes, according to Rabbanan, they are equal. But when you do kricha, there's a mitzvah to do kricha, because b'payil, the pshat of the pasuk is yechluhu b'kricha. So when you do kricha, you're doing a mitzvah. Okay, it's a bit, I know, it's a bit, I believe that's the pshat. Huh? Oh, again? Yes. Yes. Correct. What? No. You get it? Yeah. Okay, I'll have to explain to you later. I can't go all the way back to that Indian. I can go through the cheshbon with you if you want, but it's going to be a bit complicated. Based on what I just explained, you have to go only according to Rav Yochanan and not according to Rav Ashi. According to Rav Ashi, both Rabbanan and Hillel agree that kricha is a mitzvah. So if kricha is a mitzvah, there'd be no reason to eat matzah separately, maror separately, and then k'orech. You could just go matzah and k'orech. Huh?
Why did the Gemara choose this?
Oh, why it chose Rabbi Yochanan? Because Rabbi Yochanan is more important than Rav Ashi. I don't know why. In other words, I'll tell you what I mean to say. The only problem that all the Rishonim have with the Rashbam's shitta, that we're choosing Rabbi Yochanan over Rav Ashi, is Rav Ashi disproved Rabbi Yochanan. Rav Ashi showed that Rabbi Yochanan made a mistake, shabeshtahu. So for sure we should take Rav Ashi over Rabbi Yochanan. But according to what I explained, Rabbi Yochanan is not such a shabeshta. There are two different ways how to touch the afilu and the braisa. That's it. There's two ways how to touch the afilu and the braisa, and Rabbi Yochanan wasn't a shabeshta. So Enochanami, the Gemara is bringing Rav Ashi's pshat, Elam Rav Ashi, because Rav Ashi's pshat was more the pashta pshat. But we accept Rabbi Yochanan because Rabbi Yochanan had a Messiah, and we accept the Messiah of Rabbi Yochanan. Not so difficult to understand. He's not a shabeshta. Okay, now let's learn Taisvus. Elam Rav Ashi, Zok Taisvus, Einer Kepirish Kontrish the Mishavish Rav Ashi Milsa Rabbi Yochanan and Sharei Tev Lagia Braisa Phil Lachasa Kamay Shana Magi and Kama Braisa Milshavish Rabbi Yochanan. So I explained already why that's not a question on Rashbam. Elo, so what does Taisvus say? What is the pshat in the Gemara? Elo Divrei Elo Rav Ashi Maskif Abnei Yeshiva the Mefarshi the Chelkin Rabbanon VaAsri Likrech. The question of the Gemara is not, the question of Rav Ashi is not on Rabbi Yochanan. The question of Rav Ashi is on the Bnei Yeshiva that misunderstood what Rabbi Yochanan said. They misquoted him, the context, the way they quoted him. The The imkain, if Rabbanan hold it, it's also to do Keurig, Maya filu. El Rabbanan savri, the bechol inyan mitzvasam, bein al yidei kriche, bein kol echad levadai, u pligi ahillel, the matzrich likreich, v'nakti Rabbanan afilu mishum Hillel. Hillel says you must do Keurig, and the Rabbanan say you can do either or, with Keurig or without Keurig. Okay, so why the Rashbam doesn't accept the pshat of Tosfos, I think is very poshut. First, on a very simple level. The reason why the Rashbam doesn't accept the pshat of Tosfos is because there's a certain deichik here. It doesn't say in the Gemara anything about Bnei Yeshiva. It says in the Gemara that there's Rabbi Yechanan and there's Rav Ashi. And Rav Ashi is asking a question on Rabbi Yechanan. According to Tosfos, no, it's not Rav Ashi asking a question on Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Yechanan was misunderstood. He was the context that he was quoted in was misunderstood. And therefore, we're asking on the Bnei Yeshiva, not on Rabbi Yechanan. It's not in the Gemara. Pashut pshat in the Gemara is Rabbi Yechanan and Rav Ashi. That's very pashut. Why the Rashbam didn't want to learn this way. But the emes says it goes much deeper. The whole pshat of Tosfos is something that the Rashbam cannot go along with. The Rashbam l'shitasai does not hold of the whole pshat of Tosfos in the Gemara. And that's be'ikeh over here when we get to the hemshech of Tosfos. So let's first go through the hemshech of Tosfos, and then I'll explain you why the Rashbam cannot. You'll see yourself why the Rashbam cannot hold like the hemshech of Tosfos. V'im taimar minol on the sava Hillel de mevatlois. From where do we know that Hillel holds mevatlois? Dil mishani hacha the goli kra. Maybe over here it's different because goli kra. Maybe usually Hillel holds mitzvahs are mevatlois each other. And over here there's a special chiddush in the pasuk that they are mevatl each other. V'oid hol Rabbanan nami ein mevatlois. L'chayr it comes out that even according to Rabbanan ein mevatlois the ha'im karchan nami yatsa. Since the Rabbanan hold you can do it even bekriche. So why would Rabbi Yechanan say that according to the Rabbanan mitzvahs mevatlois zuazu? Rabbanan hold you can do it bekriche. So l'chayr mitzvahs ein mevatlois zuazu. So, before I go to the answer, there's a diak here in the lashon of Tosfos in the question. Tosfos says, "Minalon the savar Hillel the aim of atlas dil meshani hacha the goli kra." Maybe this case is different because the goli kra, the Torah revealed a chiddush that you have to do it bekricha. The Rishonim all ask this question. This is one question that all the Rishonim ask, but with a different lashon than Tosfos. Tosfos is the only one that uses this lashon goli kra. The lashon that Rabbeinu David says is not goli kra. I read it before. I read part of it before. Kach hi mitzvasam, not goli kra. He asks, maybe over here is different because kach hi mitzvasam. Quran says the same thing. Minol and the Sfirei Yachal Hillel shani hacha shemitzvasam bekach, mitzvasam bekach, and he actually adds another 3 words, which I'll explain in Mitzvah one day. Ukemitzvah achas dami. Ukemitzvah achas dami. It's like one mitzvah. So how can you bring an ayah to all mitzvahs that mitzvahs aim of atle zeh Pesach matzah mother is kemitzvah achas dami. Tosfos doesn't use that lashon. Tosfos does not say mitzvah achas kach mitzvasan. All Tosfos says is goli kra, goli kra. Why does Tosfos use this lashon of goli kra? And it's not stamadik in the lashon of goli kra, but this goes back to the point that I said before. Goli kra is not such a strong question. What do you mean goli kra? Many times when the Torah is megala a point in one place, that's a binyanav l'chol Torah kula. You learn out to every other place. What's the question of Tosfos? Maybe goli kra only over here and not anywhere else. How do you know not anywhere else? Adarab, I explained before. Shittas harashbam is goli kra here, and this is the makir to chol Torah kula. Tosfos comes and asks, goli kra here and not anywhere else. Why? Maybe goli kra over here. This is a makir for everywhere else. The Rishonim that use the lashon mitzvasam bekach. So I can understand that mitzvasam bekach, or especially if you say mitzvah achas dami, so it has nothing to do with the whole question of mitzvahs mevatlas zeh. It has no connection to that. Mitzvasam bekach, this is the mitzvah. It's a totally unrelated inyan. But Tosfos that says goli kra, it's not such a strong question. Okay. So what does Tosfos say? V'yesh loymar. The answer is as follows. Since Hillel holds the lachatchila you have to do keurig, ub'diavad nafik ki loy keurig, and b'diavad you yaitze if you did not do keurig. In came ba'alma ein mevatlos. So that proves that usually he would hold that ein mevatlis. The mevatlis, if he would usually hold that mitzvahs are mevatel each other, imken itzrich kra lahater kricha. You would need the pasuk of yechluhu to be mater kricha. V'loymar the hachilay mevatli. How do you know that yechluhu is coming to tell you that you must do kricha, or there's a mitzvah to do kricha, if everywhere mitzvahs mevatle zuzu, so that I need a yechluhu to be mater kricha? The fact that he says that yechluhu is a mitzvah of kricha is a raya that usually he would hold that mitzvahs a mevatle zuzu. And then Taisa says, according to the Rabbanon, okay, I'm going to get to whatever. So there's two very big problems with this answer of Taisus. The first problem is the Marshal's kasha, which is a very strong question. The Marshal doesn't answer. The beginning of the Teretz of Taisus, mid the savar, the lechatchila yesh le likreich ubediyeved nafik hilei korech. What in the world forced Taisus to say this? All of a sudden, Taisus in his Teretz is inserting a new chiddush in Shittas Hillel. That Hillel holds that you only need kricha lechatchila and not b'diavad. Where and why does Taisus say this? Where did Taisus get this from? In the question, before Taisus befeidish did not say this, before the lashon of Taisus is upligi ahilel de matzrich lekreich. In the question, Taisus says that Hillel holds you must do kreich. All of a sudden, v'yeshloimar, according to Hillel, the whole kreich is only lechatchila. Why in the world is Taisus saying this? The answer of Taisus would be perfect if you leave what Taisus said in the question that Hillel holds you must do kreich. The whole question of Taisus is perfect with the way it is. If you hold that mitzvahs mevatle zeh, so then you need a heter over here. Since he holds mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh, so therefore he holds here it's a mitzvah and it's ma'akiv. Where in the world did Taisus get this from? That's the Shiloh of the Marshal. I think the Shiloh of the Marshal goes a step further. You can ask the question on Taisus even more than this. The whole entire concept of lechatchila and b'diavad. Do you find the concept of lechatchila and b'diavad beneged to mitzvahs min ha-Torah? Usually the concept of lechatchila and b'diavad is only beneged to mitzvahs midrabanan, not beneged to mitzvahs min ha-Torah. A mitzvah min ha-Torah, either you are mekayim it the way the Torah said or not. When you get to mitzvahs midrabanan, so then the rabbanan make a certain takana, and then they only lechatchila dig a takana, b'diavad dig a takana, but not when you get to mitzvahs min ha-Torah. So Rabbi Yosef Engel in the Sefer actually talks about this. The Rebbe brings it in Lekut Sichas Chelik Chav Beis Parshas Bahar, whether there's such a musig of lechatchila and b'diavad min ha-Torah. It's a whole shaila. Is there or isn't there? There are rayas lakan, whether there's lechatchila and b'diavad min ha-Torah. One of the rayas that I think is from the mitzvah of lulav, which is something we learned in Zion Amud Beis, that there's a lulav, there's the simple mitzvah of lulav, which is just a mid'ag bay, nafik bay, you pick it up, and then there's the shleimus of the mitzvah when you shake it. So you see that even in ha-Torah, there is a mitzvah the way it is, and then there's the shleimus of mitzvah. So over here, Taisus says there's lechatchila and b'diavad. So it's a big pellet that Taisus is mechadish, this concept of lechatchila and b'diavad. So even if we'll say that there is such a thing as lechatchila b'diavad regarding mitzvahs min ha-Torah, where did Taisus find in the Chumash that yechluhu is only lechatchila? Lefid Hillel, that yechluhu means to eat it together. Where did Taisus find a makkah that yechluhu only means lechatchila? It's a huge pellet that Taisus puts this in here. That's one problem. The other problem is the etzem thing that Taisus says here. The etzem thing that Taisus says that if you hold in kol ha-Torah kula that mitzvahs mevatle zuazu, so the pasuk of yechluhu, you need the pasuk of yechluhu as a heter, is not pashut at all. It's not so pashut. Why would you say that you need the pasuk of yechluhu as a heter? Let me ask you a simple question. When you read the pasuk al matzais u'merayrim yechluhu, what do you hear in that pasuk? Do you hear a heter or do you hear a command, a mitzvah? Al matzais u'merayrim yechluhu. I hear a mitzvah. I don't hear a heter. Not saying if you want you can eat it this way. It's saying a mitzvah. Taisus has this hanacha. You can't jump two steps. If in kol ha-Torah kula it's aser to put two mitzvahs together, and the Torah says yichlu, you can't say that the Torah is going to the other extreme and saying that it's a mitzvah to put it together. The Torah is only going one step up, that you could put it together. What's the problem to go two steps? The Torah can't jump two steps. The Torah doesn't know how to jump two steps. In kol ha-Torah kula, mitzvahs mevatle zeh. And over here, Torah is telling you a mitzvah that in this case, goli kra, that there's a mitzvah that you do have to eat it together. What's the problem? Why is it toli zeh b'zeh? Because in kol ha-Torah kula, you can't eat it together. So when the Torah wrote yichlu, it could only go one step up. No, Look at the pshat of the pasuk. Yechlu means a mitzvah. So in Kol HaTorah Kula, it's aser to eat two mitzvahs together. And over here, the Torah is telling you a mitzvah to eat together. What's the problem? What's this hechrich Taisus is saying here that you could only go one step up? Shikol Pel, I think. And I believe that this is the reason why Taisus disagrees with the Rashbam. Taisus holds when the Torah writes Yechlu is a mitzvah. There's no such a thing as Yechlu as a heter. The Rashbam doesn't hold this concept. Yechlu is not a heter. Yechlu beferish is a mitzvah. And that's the whole yesod of Shittas Rashbam. Yechluhu is a mitzvah. And it's from this mitzvah which is the makir to Kol HaTorah Kula that mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh. It starts off with the fact that Yechlu is a mitzvah. And then from there we learn to Kol HaTorah Kula that mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh. Taisus starts the opposite. Taisus goes the other way around. We have to look at the way it is in Kol HaTorah Kula, whether mitzvahs mevatle zeh or mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh. And then based on that, we're going to interpret Yechlu. That's how it works. That's how you read a pasuk in the Chumash, with a preconceived notion of something else, and that's how you teach the pasuk. The pasuk means Yechlu as a mitzvah. That's another question. But one thing that you do see from Taisvus is, before I answer these two questions, one thing that you do see from Taisvus is a very geschmack and nekuda here. You see from Taisvus that he argues with the whole yesod of Shittas Rashbam. Rashbam held mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh is not a svara. The makar of mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh is this mitzvah of k'orech. You have to have a makar from a pasuk for this chiddush of mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh. From Taisvus it comes out punkt verkehrt. Taisvus holds mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh as a svara. It's a svara pshuta. The machlek is whether mitzvahs mevatle zeh or ein mevatle zeh is not totally in a limit of a pasuk. It's beferish a svara. And therefore, Taisus sets it up the opposite of the Rashbam. First, you have to look at the svara. What's the svara? Is the svara mitzvahs mevatles, or is the svara mitzvahs ein mevatles? And then, based on that, I'll know how to teach Yechlu of the pasuk. So Taisus looks at it the opposite of the Rashbam. Huh? Taisus holds mitzvahs ein mevatles as a svara. Correct? Huh? I don't. I do not. I do not need a pasuk lefi Taisus. Lefi Taisus, how do I know that Hillel holds mitzvahs ein mevatles zeh? Because he says that Yechlu is a mitzvah, must be that he held in Kol HaTorah Kula that mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh. And from where did Hillel know that mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh? From nowhere. Misvara. There's no pasuk for it. So it's a l'chayre comes out a clear machlekes between Rashbam and Taisvus whether mitzvahs mevatle zeh is a svara or a pasuk, which is l'chayre totally in the gather of ein mitzvahs mevatle zeh. But I'm not going to go into that more barichas over here. Huh? Also a svara. What's the problem? Yeah, it's the first time in Shas that you found a machlekes Tanaim or Amirayim regarding a svara. Okay, so when you get to Shittas Taisus itself, I think l'chayre the pshat and Taisus over here is to answer the Marshal's kasha and what's the pashut pshat of what Taisus is saying. That I think in the l'chayre. We'll see. There's a few I found how to learn Taisus, but let's start with one simple item. L'chayre in the ikr yesod of how to learn the etzem mitzvah of marer. Taisus holds like the Rashbam. Taisus holds like the Rashbam. And let me put it to you in these words. There's two way fanim how you can learn the mitzvah of marer. I didn't put it this way when I said before the Rashbam, even though I should have, but I'll put it to you this way now. There's two way fanim how you can learn mitzvah marer. Either the pshat of mitzvah marer is, it's one mitzvah. It's one mitzvah that includes three mitzvahs. Three details. This is the chefts of the mitzvah. The chefts of the mitzvah is k'orech. That's it. Then there's another item, which is the way I explained before the Rashbam, based on what it says in Rabbeinu David. There are mitzvahs chalukais. That's the lashon of Rabbeinu David. There are three unrelated mitzvahs. Comes the Torah and says these three mitzvahs chalukais, you should be mekayim them together. That's what the Torah is saying here by the mitzvah of k'orech. So l'chayre, according to the Rashbam, I explained before that from here is the makar to Kol HaTorah Kula that mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh. If you would hold that the pshat of mitzvahs k'orech is that this is the chefts of the mitzvah, to have three things together, so then you can't bring a makar from here to Kol HaTorah Kula that mitzvahs ein mevatle zeh. That's what the mitzvah is over here. What raya do you have from here to any other place when you have two unrelated mitzvahs? Elamai the Rashbam held the gather of k'orech is mitzvahs chalukais, and the Torah says to do it with k'orech. Taisus agrees to that yesod. That's how Taisus learned this inyan. Elamai, Taisus took it a step further than the Rashbam. Tosfos holds as follows. The Torah wrote the mitzvah of matzah in a separate pasuk. Be'erev teichel matzahs. So matzah is a separate mitzvah. Marer, even though the Torah never writes mitzvahs marer as a separate mitzvah, but in a few places in psachim, the Gemara says that there's a hekesh between matzah and marer. So marer is also a separate mitzvah. And Karban Pesach is also a separate mitzvah. The Torah is clearly letting me know that there are three unrelated mitzvahs. Umemela Tosfos held when the Torah came along and wrote Yechluhu to say that they have to be eaten together, the Torah is not changing the etzem fact that these are three unrelated mitzvahs, that be'etzem you're yaitze each one of them separately. You can be yaitze Pesach separately, Matzah separately, and Marah separately. The Torah is coming to add a prat, that there's another prat of doing it in an oifen of k'orech. But the Torah is not changing. The Torah is not coming to say these three separate mitzvahs are be'emes, not separate mitzvahs. Be'emes, you have to do them together. No. The Torah said be'erev teichel matzahs in a separate pasuk. That's machriach, that if you just ate matzah alone, you'll be yaitze matzah. And the same thing with marer. Marer is hukesh, there's a hekesh from marer. If you eat marer alone, you'll be yaitze mitzvahs marer. If you eat Pesach alone, you'll be yaitze mitzvahs Pesach. Why? Because they are three separate mitzvahs and the Torah writes them separately. It writes it separately by matzah and separately by Pesach, and there's a hekesh to marer. Elamai, the Torah did say yechluhu. There is another pasuk where the Torah says you have to eat it together. That's not oikir, the etzem yisai, that they are be'etzem separate mitzvahs. It's not coming to uproot that. It's coming to be meisif another prat. It's coming to be meisif, besides the fact that they're each one a mitzvah b'fnei atzmai, b'neisif l'zeh, there's a mitzvah of k'orech to take them and eat them together. It's a davar neisif, it's another prat. But what happens if you're not mekayim this davar neisif? What happens if you do eat the marer separately? Are you going to be, is it going to be nothing? It's not going to be nothing. You were yaitze the mitzvah of marer. This davar neisif that the Torah said that marer should be done in a oifen of k'orech, that you didn't do. That you missed, Akka. But marer you were yaitze. That's the Yisai, the Shittas at Tosfos. And so when Tosfos says, l'chatchila and b'di'eved, that's exactly what Tosfos means. Tosfos, when he says l'chatchila and b'di'eved, does not mean what l'chatchila and b'di'eved usually means. L'chatchila b'di'eved, Rabbeinu David, when he quotes this shitta of Tosfos, not exactly Tosfos, but when Rabbeinu David quotes this shitta of Tosfos, he doesn't use the word l'chatchila. He uses the word mitzvah min ha-mufchar. Tosfos never meant mitzvah min ha-mufchar. It's not mitzvah min ha-mufchar. What Tosfos holds is there's two separate points here. There's two separate inyanim. There's marer. When Tosfos says l'chatchila, Tosfos says, not only did you do mitzvahs marer, you did mitzvahs marer with the hisafa of Torah that said how to do mitzvahs marer, with k'orech. And then there's b'di'eved. What's b'di'eved? That you only did marer. You only did the mitzvah of marer without the hisafa of Torah, that it should be done on a oifen of k'orech. So b'di'eved, it's not l'chatchila b'di'eved of one mitzvah. L'chatchila is with mitzvahs k'orech, and b'di'eved is just marer b'fnei atzmai without mitzvahs k'orech. That's how Tosfos learns. Okay. Didn't answer the Marsha, but I'll continue tomorrow.